Alright, so I'm at the gun range, and you can see the line is hot right now, so I have my earphones on, but I'm setting up right over here, and I will be sighting in. I got a new Ruger in a 30-06 and put a scope on it and everything, so I'm preparing for deer season, and I'm going to be sighting this thing in, and then I'll double check another rifle I have. One of the Thompson Center compasses, 6.5 Creedmoor. I just want to verify that it's still good to go. It's just a few weeks away for deer season, so I've had this Ruger American for a little while, and I've not had time to take it out for the first shots. So I took it apart, cleaned it up, and mounted a Vortex scope on it. So. Well, let's get started. So I was getting everything set up, and you can see the rotary mag there that's used on the Ruger, which I really liked, by the way. That rotary mag was pretty nice. And there's the ammo that I chose to shoot with today. And started off with the Federal. So there's the ammo that I used, and I was comparing the ballistics on them. This is the Federal, and it's showing here. Well, let's take a look at the velocity, muzzle velocity, 2900, energy 2801, and that's the muzzle. Then 100 yards, 2674. So it's a bonded soft point. It has a boat tail design. The Winchesters, so this is an extreme point, so it has a polymer tip on it. Ballistic profile, but you can see this is not a boat tail. But then looking at the muzzle velocity, 2920, so it's just about the same, just 20 more. Energy 2830, what does that say, 39? So they're almost identical, and they are both 150 grain. So I was curious about this. This is the first time I've used this Winchester, the Deer Season XP. So, but that's the main difference. It has the polymer tip and a ballistic profile, but not a boat tail. The Precision Hunter. Now I've always wanted to try this too. So this is the Precision Hunter 178 grain ELDX. So much heavier bullet, and when I'm looking at the specs here, so it has that polymer tip on it, and it's a boat tail. And looking at let's see, the muzzle velocity, 2750, so it's a little lower, but of course it's a heavier bullet, so it doesn't show here, but I'm sure the muzzle energy is going to be much higher than what it's showing on these 150s. And they're both all showing zeroing in at 200 yards. So at 300 yards drops 7.7, 300 yards drops 7.4, and 7.5, so they're just about equal, but of course this is going to drop a little more because it's a heavier bullet. So it's to be expected. I just really wanted to compare these and see how they did. So I was getting set up here on the bench, and just checking the rifle out, getting ready to bore sight it, and that's I already mounted a Vortex scope on it, which was actually a pretty nice scope, by the way. It was the Vortex Copperhead. I've never seen the Copperhead before, but it was one of their less expensive models. But you can see there's the first shot, and just trying to get everything, taking my time and just getting everything zeroed in there. You can see it does have quite a bit of recoil. And it's not bad. I mean, you know, 1, 2, 3 shots, really no big deal, but you can really see the rifle jump.
Outside the white dot.
And it took me about, I forget, 4 or 5 shots or so to get it zeroed in. And then, you know, did my first round grouping with it. And you can see there's the very top, the red target there is what I used for sighting in the scope. The other 4 were for, you know, the different ammo that I chose. Alright, so here's some of the results. This first target, you see this, that was the top one. You can see where I was, you know, I just bore sighted it and then moved them in. First it was over here, and I'll show you on these other targets here. Well, there's one, but remember when I showed you on that group of 4, I just used the center point between these 4 to see how far off on the paper it was going to be. And that was the first one, and then the second one, and then I moved it in. This was actually the third one. And then I adjusted, and for some reason they started coming way down here. You can see where I started moving them up, and boom, these next 3 shots at 0.9, just under an inch. And this was using the Federal ammo. I had plenty of it, so I decided I'd use that to sight it in and then get the first groupings. And kind of verified it here. Here's the next target, using the same Federal, and right at an inch. So it was pretty consistent, right? Pretty nice little group. The next was the Winchester. There's the 3, and that was about 1.64. And I mean, not great, but I guess when you're out there hunting, or you know, a group like that is not bad. And then the next, this was the Hornady. I was expecting a little more out of that, but 1.92. I will probably play with this a little more, because I do have, you know, the rest of the box, but I'm real stingy with my ammo right now, because I mean, given there's just a shortage of ammo, I want to make sure I have enough to get me through this deer season coming up. Then I'll go back and play around with this and see what I can do. And I'm surprised I couldn't find any, but I usually, along with this group, I usually have some, you know, Remington also. But we'll see how it goes. And just FYI, this was the same Federal, but this was the 6.5 Creedmoor. I just wanted to go in and verify, and it was a 1.8. And I was kind of disappointed on this. My past groupings with this, using, I guess, the Hornady Black, I was getting pretty consistent with, you know, 0.8 and 0.9 groups. So I'll still be able to keep it, you know, under an inch. But this one was like, wow. I was kind of disappointed. But I know when I sighted it in, my center point, my point of aim was with the Hornady Blacks, and I could probably keep that same grouping in here. But I'll be using the Federals for this deer season. These are the 2 rifles I'm probably going to concentrate on. So, but that's not bad. Not bad at all for out of the box. Well, I'd have to say I'm pretty pleased with this Ruger. Out of the box, it performed very well. And even using the Federal ammo, which is one of the more affordable brands out there. But I've had good luck with Federal ammo, even from this, my 30-30, and what else did I try it on? 308, I think. But I mean, it's a hit or miss. But I'm glad to see that it, it really liked it. I was getting 0.8, 0.9, and the rifle felt good. The trigger. It's one of my favorites on these budget rifles. It handled well. It's clean, crisp. I had already adjusted it, and sure, I could get a little lighter, but I forget what I had it at, 3.5 or so, and that's not bad. We're talking a hunting rifle here. We're not in competition or a match, but for what this is for, I got this for this deer season coming up. It's a 30-06, very common rounds. Hopefully I'll be able to get my hands on some more, but it shot very well. I was pretty pleased. The bad thing about it is very light. The stock is very light, and the recoil, you can definitely feel it. I can see if I'm out hunting somewhere and 2 or 3 shots, hopefully just 1 shot kill or whatever. 1 or 2 shots is not bad. I mean, it might be cold outside, wearing a jacket, there's some extra dampening there, and it's just 1 or 2 shots. It's not bad. Sure, it had some recoil, but when I was out there today, when you start shooting some groupings and testing, different ammo and all that good stuff, so after a box or a couple of boxes of ammo, holy cow, you start to feel it. So I don't know. There's still some tweaking I could do with those V blocks. I still think it needs to be bedded because I showed you that little crappy video. So when I took this apart to clean it up and get it ready for the range for the first shots, so I was noticing here on the V blocks, you can see the seams where this is cast metal, and you can see the seam on it from the tooling. Very visible on both sides. I was looking at it thinking, well, you're probably not getting a contact point across the whole thing. And sure enough, when I was looking at the barrel, let's see if this will stay up there. There we go. Now, so there's your contact points. This one, you can see it almost went all the way over. About 3/4 over. It's missing some here. This one, you're only getting a very partial contact point. Same thing on the other side. Well, the other side's not that bad. And with the recoil, since those are the V blocks and the recoil lugs, your pressure points are on the front. On the front of the grooves here, 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 and here. So we'll see how it looks after I take it to the range for the first shots. But it felt good. The magazine felt good. It has that rotary mag, and I've seen some write-ups and reviews about the mag not performing well or getting jamming or whatever, and I didn't see that. I did get an extra magazine just in case, but so far it's performing very well. Yeah, so on my part, the biggest decision is just how far am I going to go? Do I keep this stock and just add weight to it, modify the factory stock, add some weight, do the bedding, and even bedding those V blocks just to make sure, reduce that movement in there, and leave it like it is. This could be the just my bang around go, bad weather or whatever. I'll take this out and don't have to worry about it. Or do I go ahead and replace, get a Boyd stock like I've done before? And I can show the video on that. The stock looks really good, and it's fit. We fit our pillar kits to fit the Rugers and the V block and all that good stuff on a Boyd stock, and they work pretty well. Now the scope also, I was pretty impressed. This is the Vortex, and this is the Copperhead, which I had never seen before. It's a 4x12. I was looking at the Vortex Crossfire, and I was going to try that one. I had never used a Vortex before. I've always heard good things about it. They're very popular. And I ran across this Copperhead, and I went and got it. I decided, okay, this is a budget setup. This is another one of my budget rifle builds. But I liked it. It was a great scope. I didn't do any very in-depth testing as far as all I did was mount it and sight it in, and it's spot on, right? But I didn't do any other testing besides that. But we'll see when I go hunting, make sure it doesn't fog up and all that good stuff, and then, who knows? Maybe I'll do a review on that one of these days. But for now, just looking at that Ruger American in 30-06, I'm sure in other calibers also, but out of the box, it's been performing great. So we'll see how it goes. After this deer season, I'll hunt with it, and then I'll decide, how far do I want to modify it? Do I go ahead and get a Boyd stock and use our pillars and all that good stuff, and see how it shoots, or do I just modify this existing stock to add weight and get a better feel? But we'll see. But anyway, big thumbs up on the Ruger American.